Hi, I'm Nicholas Roesler, and this is my Lab 9 submission for ENME351. The project I am working on is answering the question, how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? I'm sure we can remember that commercial with the boy and the owl. Well, today I am going to get to the bottom of it. So, first and foremost, the most obvious thing here is the stepper motor with the sponge attached to it. This is to simulate the licking motion. The sponge is dampened beforehand, and the moisture is able to hold throughout the entire trial. This comes in contact with the Tootsie Pop here. The next thing I want to talk about is this tuner. This adjusts the rotation of the stepper motor. So as we can see here, it's traveling about 360 degrees every time. This adjusts it plus or minus 10 degrees because sometimes it gets a little off, and if it ends up stopping right around here, then this swinger arm, which we'll talk about later, gets caught up on that. So I am going to, right now it's turning a little bit more than 360, so I'm going to turn the rotation down a little bit. We'll take a quick look at my Arduino code, and this is my processing code, and then here's my display window. As we can see, we've done 33 licks so far, and it's turning 4.76 degrees less than 360, so that it will start to stop a little bit further back. So I'm going to turn this a little bit forward so we can try and get that closer to 0. So that should be, the closer to 0, the better. Anyway, the next component is this swinger arm here. This checks the depth of the pop. It comes in at 50 licks. That gives us time to adjust the tuning. This copper contact point comes into contact here, and if that happens, then the trial will stop and it's complete. So as we can see here, because we're not at the center yet, it does not come into contact. I'll give you a better shot of that. And it goes back down. And the way it goes back down are these contact points here. This one is grounded, this one is positively charged, and then this one in the middle is sending a digital reading to the Arduino. When it comes into contact with the positive, the servo motor reverses direction, and this is to stop it from trying to over rotate, because I have it set rotate until it comes into contact with this. So as you can see right now, it's going along nicely. I have the stepper motor attached to 19 volts. This is because I originally did not have enough torque on the 12 volt, so I increased the voltage to 19 because the max for the Arduino is 20. And then for the sake of time, because this does take a while, I'm gonna just take the pop out and show you what happens when this comes into contact and stops the test. So as we can see here, these 2 points are touching, and this has come to a full stop. As we can see indicated here, the amount of licks is 68. The tune was just over 360 degrees, and our status is now done. So something that I forgot to mention in the first take of that video was how this arm checks the depth. So as we can see here, there's a hole for the pop right there, and then this little kind of wooden flag here will basically line up with that when it's at center. We can see right there. And then if we take a level surface and kind of check that just to make sure. So as we can see, indeed, that is lined up with the center. When the pop is at its center, this will pretty much be lined up as it is now and allow this point to touch. So that was just one other quick thing I wanted to notice. So I did also run a few trials of this. First one took 948, and then I adjusted the length of the sponge to try and see if that would get a bit more distance on the lick, and that brought it down about 100 licks. And then there's trial 3, and then my average ended up being 867.